Hey everyone, today we're diving into something that's been getting a lot of attention lately, the 220V plasma cutter with a built-in air pump. If you've been looking for a reliable way to cut metal cleanly without spending a fortune, this might be the tool you've been waiting for. I know metalworking can get expensive fast, so I wanted to check this one out myself. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the fact that this is a 2-in-1 machine is a big deal. You get plasma cutting and MMA welding in one unit, which means you're not stuck buying two separate machines just to cover your bases. That alone saves you space and money. I tested it on some thick steel plates, and the plasma cutting was smooth, no jagged edges, which is exactly what you want when you're trying to get clean cuts for projects or repairs. The built-in air pump is a nice touch too because it means you don't have to haul around an extra compressor. It just works right out of the box, which is perfect if you're working in a garage or a small workshop. Another thing that stood out to me was the non-HF pilot arc. I've used some plasma cutters before where the high-frequency start was a bit sketchy, it can interfere with other electronics or just feel unreliable. But this one uses a non-contacting pilot arc, so there's no risk of messing with your sensitive equipment. I tried it on a few different metals, including stainless steel and aluminum, and it handled them all without any issues. The cuts were precise, and the machine didn't struggle even when I pushed it a little harder. That's the kind of consistency you need when you're on a job and don't have time for finicky tools. Now, let's talk about the MMA welding part. I'm not a professional welder, but I do a lot of DIY projects around the house, and sometimes you just need a quick, solid weld. This machine handled mild steel rods like a champ. The arc was stable, and the slag came off cleanly, which made cleanup way easier. If you're someone who does a mix of cutting and welding, like building metal frames or repairing farm equipment, this machine could save you from having to switch between tools constantly. One of the things I really appreciated was how easy it was to set up. I plugged it in, turned it on, and started cutting within minutes. No complicated instructions or extra steps. The torch felt comfortable in my hand too, which might seem like a small thing, but after an hour of cutting, you'll be glad you didn't have to deal with something clunky. I also like that it's designed for 220V, which is pretty standard in most workshops. If your garage or workspace already has the right outlet, you're good to go without any extra adapters or modifications. Of course, no tool is perfect, and this one has a couple of things to keep in mind. For one, it's not the lightest machine out there. If you're planning to move it around a lot, you might want to think about where you'll store it. It's also worth noting that while it handles most common metals well, if you're working with really thick materials, like over an inch, you might need to take it slower or make multiple passes. But for the average DIYer or hobbyist, that's probably not going to be an issue. Overall, this plasma cutter is a solid choice if you need a versatile, no-fuss tool for cutting and welding metal. It's not overkill for most projects, and the built-in air pump and non-HF pilot arc make it a lot more convenient than some of the bulkier options out there. Whether you're fixing up an old trailer, building a custom piece for your shop, or just tackling some home repairs, this machine could be exactly what you need. If you're curious about the specs or want to see current pricing, check out the link below. It's a great tool to have around, and I think a lot of you will find it useful for your projects. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.